Hey guys, it's Alexis.
And I'm Chase.
And
you're watching The Weekend Experience.
Chase, do you ever remember me talking about my brother's sister Annie?
Wouldn't that be your little sister, Annie?
Yep, that's the one. Did I ever tell you about her friend Jane who used to bring her kid over to our house?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, let me tell you, this kid was like the most annoying kid ever. He would come over and just make so much noise and he would eat everything. It was the worst.
Wow. Alexis, I've never heard you talk about someone that way.
Well, Jane's kid is my least favorite house guest.
Wait, this is your little sister's friend Jane's kid? Or is it Jane's friend who is a kid?
It's Jane's kid. You know, like a baby goat. I'm talking about Jane's pet goat.
I thought you were talking about a person, like a little kid.
Why would I talk about a kid like that? And kids don't eat everything. Chase, were you even listening to me?
I thought I was listening, I just didn't understand.
Haven't you ever heard the phrase before, a kid? It's the proper term for a baby goat.
Well, yeah, but I'm so confused.
Here, let me get a dictionary. I'll show you how.
Games! I think it's time for a game with Hayden.
Welcome to Game Time, and today we get to use everybody's best friend, whipped cream, okay? Here's how you play this game. We're gonna try to get 3 pieces of whipped cream that you spray on your hand just like this, and then you're gonna hit it into the air by slapping it. Kinda hurts a little bit, but you're gonna hit it, and you're gonna try to catch it in your mouth, okay? Let's see how this goes. I don't know if it's gonna be successful for me, but I bet you're gonna be successful. Here we go. This is my first go. My first try, ready? Oh, here we go. Another one. Let's try to get 3 in a row. Another one. Here we go. Let's go. Here we go. You gotta keep it in your mouth. Move. Here we go. Come out that one.
You know, my friend Jane's kid would have eaten all that whipped cream and the can.
Can we quit talking about Jane's kid? I mean, pet goat?
Do you have an issue with goats or something?
I don't know. I've never met one.
Oh, well, let me tell you, they are terrible. They make so much noise. I mean, I could go on and on about how terrible Jane's goat is.
Well, speaking of noise, it's time for worship.
Oh, yeah. Everybody, let's up to your feet and let's make some noise.
All the static, all the noise can't compete with your beat. Tuning in to your voice, it's your love on repeat. Shout it out, tell the world I found a meaning. Can't be quiet anymore, you're the song I'm singing. Can you hear it? Through a million voices, you're the sound all around. Love is big, your love is loud. forevermore. Let it only be for you. Jesus, my heart is yours, now and forevermore. Let it only be for you. Jesus, my heart is yours, now and forevermore. Let it only be for you. Jesus, my heart is yours, now and forevermore. Let it only be for you. Beat your heart goes on and on. You play my song, so turn it up, can't get enough of. Beat your heart goes on and on. You play my song, so turn it up, can't get enough of your love. 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 You make my heart go boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. You make my heart go boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom.
If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God. Let him ask God. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God. Let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him, given to him, given to him. Yeah. Let him ask God. Let him ask God. Let him ask God. Let him ask God. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God. Oh, let him ask God. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God. Oh, let him ask God.
Who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him, given to him, given to him.
Oh, let him ask God. Let him ask God. Let him ask God. Let him ask God. Yeah.
James 1:5.
Let him ask God. Let him ask God. Let him ask God. Let him ask God.
What's up, my friends? That's right, it is time for our memory verse, and I'm super excited because this week's is amazing and it helps us remember that God can turn bad things into good things. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so you guys know the drill by now. We're gonna run through it once, see what we're working with, then we're gonna break it up into some parts so we can learn it all together, and then, yeah, that's right, 2 times in a row. Who's ready? Because I know I am. All right, so the memory verse for this week is Genesis 50:20a, and it looks a little something like this. You planned to harm me, but God planned it for good. Pretty awesome, right? Okay, so for the very first part, we're gonna say you planned. And for that, all we're gonna do for you is point to you, okay? So take your pointer and point out, you. Good job. And then for planned, we're gonna take our 2 hands in front of us, put them down, and then we're gonna go from side to side. You got that? Let's try it together. You planned. Amazing job. One more time. You planned. Super good. Okay. Next part is to harm me. You got it? Let's try it together. We're gonna take our 2 fingers in front of us and we're gonna twist them down and a little bit towards our feet. Got it? Harm me. Good. And then for me, we're just pointing to ourselves because that's who we're talking about. Great job. Let's try it together. Harm me. Amazing job. Okay, let's put those two together. You planned to harm me. Amazing. Okay, now for our next part, we're talking about God. So we're gonna point to him. Good job. So we're gonna say, but God, and then the next part is planned again. So let's try those two together. But God planned. Amazing. One more time. But God planned. Super good. And our very last part, my favorite part, we're gonna say for good. So all we're gonna do is take our hand from our chin and our other hand in front of us and put it inside of it, because that's good. One more time, for good. Amazing. Okay, now that we have all of our pieces, you know what that means? Let me hear it. That's right, 2 times in a row. Okay, shake it off, get ready, here we go. Genesis 50:20a. You planned to harm me, but God planned it for good. Okay, amazing job, guys. Let's do it one more time. Here we go. Genesis 50:20a. You planned to harm me, but God planned it for good. Amazing job, guys. Okay, remember this one because it's so good to know that God can take bad things and turn them into great things. Remember it, practice it, and show all your friends, okay? I'll see you guys next week.
Chase, did I ever tell you what happened to Fred?
Fred? Who's Fred?
Chase, are you not listening to me? Fred is Jane's goat.
I'm listening. I just didn't know we were still talking about the goat.
Oh, well, he died.
He died? That's awful.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible. Poor Jane. She loved that goat. He went everywhere with her.
How did he die?
Well, he ate a whole tree.
A whole tree? Alexis, this is ridiculous.
Nope, he ate it one bite at a time. And when he finished, he fell over dead. I saw it.
You were there?
Yep.
That's so sad.
It was really sad. And you know what? Jane was sad too. She cried for like days and days.
This is a real bummer of a story.
I know, Chase. But sometimes life just doesn't go the way we want it to.
That's true, and I'm sorry Fred died, and that Jane was sad.
Yeah, it made me sad for Jane too. Even though I didn't really like Fred, I didn't also know how to comfort her. But Chase, you know, God maybe had a plan for Fred. I mean, do you think goats go to heaven?
I don't know about Fred, but I'm sure he has a plan for Jane, and even though she's sad, he'll be with her and help her through her sadness. You know, God has a way of healing our hearts and helping us get through really difficult times.
That's for sure.
Alexis, do you mind if we get to today's Bible story? I really want to know what happens next to Joseph.
Totally. Maybe it'll lighten the mood.
Jacob died. Then all of Egypt mourned him for 70 days. When the days of sadness had passed, Joseph asked Pharaoh for permission to take his father's body back to Canaan to be buried, and permission was given. So Joseph traveled to Canaan to bury his father. His family and all Pharaoh's officials went with him. Chariots and horsemen also went with him. Joseph and his brothers did exactly as their father had asked. They buried Jacob in the cave in the land of Canaan. Then they all returned to Egypt. But Joseph's brothers began to worry. They said to themselves, "Remember all the bad things we did to Joseph? What if he decides to hold those things against us? What if he pays us back for them?" So they sent a message to Joseph saying that their father had wanted Joseph to forgive them for the terrible things they had done. When Joseph received the message, he cried. Then his brothers came and threw themselves down in front of him and said, "We are your slaves." But Joseph comforted them and spoke to them in a kind way. He said, "Do not be afraid. Do you think I'm God? You planned to harm me, but God planned it for good. He planned to do what is now being done. He wanted to save many lives. So then, don't be afraid. I'll provide for you and your children." And so Joseph's brothers were reassured that they were forgiven. Joseph remained in Egypt. He lived long enough to see his grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Just before he died, he told his brothers that God would help them, that God would one day bring them back to the promised land in Canaan, the land God had given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Then Joseph asked his brothers to carry his bones back to Canaan with them when they returned. He lived to be 110 years old.
Isn't it great that God is in the business of healing hearts? But you know, it doesn't just happen. It takes work on our part too. We have to learn and understand and how to use the tool of forgiveness. even if the other person never asks for forgiveness. And you guys, that's really hard to do. But somewhere along in Joseph's life, he must have come to understand his own arrogance and jealousy and anger and hatred his brothers had towards him. He must have decided to forgive them, even if he was never going to see them again. So my challenge for you this week is to practice working on forgiveness. Ask God to help you understand and be willing to forgive, and trust God that he can help heal those relationships. Will you guys pray with me? God, I pray that you would meet us where our broken hearts are. I pray that you would teach us who we need to forgive and give us the courage to do so. I thank you that you love us and that you are here with us every step of the way, and I pray that you would soften our hearts this week and help us to learn how to use the tool of forgiveness. In your name we pray, amen. All right, that definitely did not lighten the mood.
I know, just when you think Joseph is on good terms with his whole family, his dad dies and his brothers freak out.
I know, why does he have to go through this again?
Well, maybe God was finishing something.
Finishing what?
Well, God reunited Joseph with his whole family, but it sounds like his brothers wondered if he really had forgiven them. And now that their dad was gone,
do you think they thought Joseph was going to do something bad to them?
maybe.
But Joseph cried and said he forgave them.
But maybe they needed to hear it again. What they did to him was horrible.
Yeah, it really was. Maybe they didn't forgive themselves for being so bad. I mean, the Bible says they threw themselves at Joseph's feet and offered to be his slaves.
Yeah, I think God was just finishing what he had started 17 years earlier.
You might be right, Chase. It seems like Joseph had figured it all out. I mean, look at our memory verse for today. Joseph says, "You planned to harm me, but God planned it for good."
And Joseph understood, but maybe his brothers just hadn't accepted that something so horrible could be worked out for everyone's good.
Isn't that great how God does that? I mean, I'm so glad that he forgives me and all the bad things I do.
Yeah, me too. And he heals the broken hearts of those who have had bad things happen to them.
It's kind of perfect, isn't it?
That's God for you, perfect in every way. Well, that's all we have for you today.
Unless you want to stick around for Workshops with Sarah.
Until next week, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey y'all, I'm Sarah, and this is Sarah's Workshop with. Wait, John, no.
I thought it was a cookie.
No,
This isn't a cookie?
not a cookie.
Oh.
You will die if you eat that.
Really?
I have no idea, but probably.
Okay.
Don't eat it.
Okay, well, I thought you made me cookies.
Oh my gosh, you scared me.
I was super excited. I was like, oh, there's a blue cookie on the
Well,
table.
it's Sarah's
Just
Workshop
for me.
with John. Hey guys, welcome back to the workshop. Today we are making air dry clay. So I love making little nickety-knack things out of clay, things like this bowl dish that John thought was a cookie, but is so obviously not a cookie.
Looks like a beautiful cookie.
It's not a cookie.
Okay.
So I love making little trinkets and stuff out of clay, but one of the things I don't like to do is stick them in the oven and wait for them to bake. So I thought, let's try making air dry clay, and then I can just leave it outside and enjoy the rest of the day and come back and it'd be dry and amazing and ready to decorate. So that's what we're gonna do today, is teach you how to make the dough for air dry clay. What you're gonna need is a bowl and a mixing instrument. This is a spatula, tiny spatula, but you can use anything, hands included. And then you're also going to need a 1 cup measure, a tablespoon measure, and a teaspoon measure.
Okay.
You're going to need cornstarch, lotion, glue, baby oil, and white vinegar, and anything you want to use to decorate your clay after it's dry. Okay, so let's begin. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix 1 cup of cornstarch into our bowl. So if you want to hold that for me, I will shake it in there. Oh, don't move it. Okay. Yeah. We're going to start with that much and we'll add the rest later.
Okay.
Okay, and then we're going to need 1 cup of glue. Perfect.
That's crazy.
I no. Use the spatula to get it out of there. Glue, so it's sticky stuff. Then we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Free time.
Did I mix it yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
We still have a few more things to add.
Got it.
We need 1 tablespoon of baby oil.
Smells like a baby.
Well, it is baby oil, so smells accurate. Okay, and then finally 1 teaspoon of the lotion. I'm just gonna blob 1 little tiny blob in here. Blob.
What kind of lotion is it? What's it smell like?
It smells like rose and vanilla. Oh, fancy.
Ooh, that smells nice.
Oh,
Now can I mix it?
so nice. Yes, now you can start mixing it. Okay, this takes a little while for the dough mixture to come together, so do not be disheartened if it becomes a sticky mess. It gets worse before it gets better, okay? So hang in there. You're gonna mix until it all starts to come together, and then you're gonna add the rest of your cornstarch in. You may have to add a little bit more than 1 cup of cornstarch in here.
All right, I think we're ready.
1.5 cups is usually where I end up, or even close to 2 cups of cornstarch, depending on how gluey your glue is. Doesn't make any sense at all.
Total 6. More, please.
More if it's so demanding, John.
Sit, please.
At least he said please.
Hey, you know, if you drop that, we won't be able to make our clay.
Happens, guys. Accidents happen. The nice thing is you just brush yourself off, or literally brush the table off.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Here we go. Whoop.
Look at that.
Perfect. Okay, how's it looking?
Is that good?
Getting a little sticky. Okay,
More?
this is all we have left. Good enough.
It's gonna be enough. I have a feeling. It's like powdered sugar.
So don't eat it. It definitely doesn't taste like powdered sugar. Okay. Okay, it's gonna get to a certain point where you're gonna have to start using your hands too.
Okay, can I use my hands or you can use your hands?
You can use your hands, man.
Okay.
Just kidding, you gotta watch on.
I can take my watch off.
Need your assistance at some point in time.
Okay.
Okay, you guys have to like knead this together for a long while. So it becomes more of a solid ball. Okay, so it's gonna take a while. Takes a long time, but just keep mixing, add more cornstarch, and eventually it's gonna get to a point where it's not sticky anymore. It gets more doughy, just like Play-Doh. And then you guys can start molding and crafting stuff out of it. And I made this tiny little dish, but you guys can make earrings out of it. You can make beads out of it. Anything you can make normal clay out of, or out of normal clay, you can make out of this air dry clay. So then you just leave it to dry in the sun for about, I don't know, 24 hours, and then voila! Instant awesome crafts. So we're gonna continue to mix our air dry clay. We will see you guys.
Hold on. It's a little one.
Oh man, I was in suspense for so long. It's a little underwhelming. But we will see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Keep mixing. Mix it up. Mix it up. This is the